Good morning, everyone. It's my pleasure to be here in front of all of you this nice morning in Bangalore, and I'm sure that all of you had a great time listening to Vipul, and he gave a real good perspective of how the whole mobile industry is poised and what are the things that's going to happen and how you can leverage out of that. My perspective is a little different in the sense that I want to talk about how, as developers, you can leverage of the system and do something which is interesting and innovative, and also provoke certain ideas and thoughts, and see how you can take those ideas back to wherever you're doing a development and see if we can build a great ecosystem together. Now, what is a smartphone, right? As she just announced, I've been in this industry for many, many years. I think starting on mobiles from almost sometime in '96. So I've seen the evolution. And one thing that is, when people ask me what is a smartphone, it's very difficult to kind of define, give a definition. One way of looking at it is that, when I ask my son, what do you think of a smartphone? Or let's say he comes to me and says, give your phone. Right? My son is in class 5. What do you think he will do with that phone? Right? 10 years ago, most likely he would have taken the phone and used it to make a phone call. Today, I think that's very unlikely. Right? He will take maybe and start playing a game or look at his fantasy Premier League scores or something else. Definitely not make a phone call. Right? So the whole purpose of evolution of what has happened with the smartphone is that it has actually destroyed its original purpose of why it existed in the first place. That was to make a phone call or even to access internet, right? So the smartphone in that concept has changed the way the phone itself was in the first place, right? So when we look at a developer community like this, a vibrant developer community, you have to look from that perspective, that it is just another device where you can do just magic. Right? So let's go ahead and see, how an application gets done. Right? You have seen this struggle much more than all of us. Right? You start off with an idea. That is what, I'm just put these technicalities there, don't bother. Right? So it's an idea. First it has to, get digested in your own mind. You have to think that it works. Then you have to go and take it to your team. They have to like the idea. It has to go to the concept of, from concept to solution to then at least a process to get it done. Then finally, it has to see the marketplace and be successful. It's a long and arduous process, right? All of us have seen that. And that's true for any idea, and most likely an application that all of you are writing has to go through these 3 cycles. It's painful, yet interesting. And that is why all of us are here. So when we have to go through this, evolution or this whole process, painful process, sometimes even longer, it takes years, right? We need a lot of things to be in place so that this whole transition is so much more seamless and comfortable and easy. And that is the whole purpose of a summit like this, where we exchange ideas with each other and see that this transition becomes so much more easier. So from a purely a developer's perspective, of course, we are engineers. We look at engineering as the first thing that comes to our mind, and we say that, hey, we have to do something. It's an idea, let's go and realize it. Right? That's only the engineering aspect of it. But then other things tear us apart. Economics, right? Resources, finally making money, even getting enough money to get things going, bootstrapping, all of that. Even to prove to somebody, go up to a senior and say that, hey, I'm doing this, but it will, it means the company will break even next year or whatever, right? And the whole ecosystem, as Vipul just mentioned, it's just tearing us apart. We do not know which part of the ecosystem we are actually in. But finally, it comes down to user adaptation, right? All of this will work together if, all of this will work together if we have users get together and they prove our application as something that is worthwhile for them, right? So for users, access is the key, right? Or even for anybody, developers, we need to get into as many devices as we want. So if you look at the kind of devices that are out there now, and when we think of an application, we should just not talk about just one phone or one platform. think about how, if you want to make money, how you can reach to the 7 billion or maybe 8 billion people that we need to go through, right? So this is the whole idea of in fact, in Samsung, we have this whole multi-platform strategy that we work on Android, on BADA, Windows, Java, widgets, all of these. And the idea is that we give that kind of access to our developers, including, not just from the App Store perspective, including support and all of that, that you can reach to as many devices into all the 7 billion that we potentially want to go after. Right? The next thing is about the engagement bouquet. Right? When you're a developer, as I said, just to move from the caterpillar stage to the butterfly stage, you need to go through a very simple and easy method of how your developer, whatever you develop, sees the light of the day. So there has to be although you have a dream and a romance, it has to be backed up by core engineering support. That includes including your ecosystem as well in the ecosystem of ours in the OEM. So there's a whole engagement thing about how you have good SDKs, you need to have enough information about specs. There is this whole community discussion that needs to come in where ideas float in, ideas come out, debated, negated, all of that happens. And then in terms of support, where you should be able to engage with people, understand how your queries get supported, get the extra lead, hey, I heard this kind of a thing, and which gives that extra edge to your development. The other aspect in terms of economics, right? We can go on and talk about the whole 2 days about making money, developing apps. But the key thing that we need to understand is about how you connect the supply of apps to the demand of apps, right? This is there. You can assume that when so many people are using phones for so many different purposes, and as I said, all the way from using GPS to using it in a discourse or running around making movies, phones are being used for everything. So demand for apps is growing by what? Exponentially, right? And we are in the business of supplying these apps. So how this plumbing works together in terms of connecting to a developer and then getting a technical support, having a proper, well-platformed execution environment, and then a marketplace where all of this gets together and then supplied to the customer. So this plumbing, in terms of how something gets supplied and how the demand is taken away, and how seamless that whole infrastructure is, makes the life so much more easy. And to make that happen, this whole ecosystem concept that we're all joined at the hip, we cannot operate by ourselves, just only one of them. All these three things in terms of the developer, the apps, and the user, because the reverse feedback also happens. As you said, you go to the store, you understand all kinds of things that they want, and perhaps those are the things that were last in your priorities, right? And suddenly you come back and have to do a new business development plan because your actual customer is asking for something else, and that is the most common phenomenon that we see in any economic model. So this all comes together. The other aspect of ecosystem is about variety, right? Phone is just another device in your house, and that has become such a powerful device. You should see how it gets connected to so many other things. The TV, for instance, is also becoming a smart TV, right? Then you have other appliances. The whole network is smart. Appliances are getting smart. Digital cameras are getting smart. And as a developer, we should see how we leverage the whole ecosystem, and especially in the context of like ours in Samsung, where we build all of these devices, it makes this seamless integration of different devices and the applications that leverage each other so much more powerful. So the buck starts not just with technology. There is a whole concept of business model. We talked about it. Process model, right? Look at IRCTC, the whole ticketing concept in India, be it airline ticketing or railway ticketing, where the phone is now a new ticket. You don't need anything else. People, in fact, railway sends out mails to all of us saying you don't print tickets anymore. Use your mobile phone. Now, this is a significant change, because just imagine the number of tickets that were sent out every day and people had to print. Now all those are mobile phones. So this whole impact of technology, business models, and process models get together, and this is what we as a developer community should leverage from. So people always wonder that when we talk about new ecosystems, what can we do in the future? I just want to kind of borrow one concept from biology, where people say that when you are in a race, when you are going through the whole evolution process, it's the survival of the fittest that will go forward, right? Now there is this theory in biology that survival of the fittest explains how species which are not strong enough, how they get weeded off, but really doesn't explain how new species get formed. So there is this new theory, it's not new actually, it's about 1920s kind of a thing, which says that new forms get evolved when two ecosystems get together. An example is the whole system of chloroplasts, the things that give life to all of us. A cyanobacteria and a protozoa got together and made chloroplast. Same thing about animal life. This thing is called mitochondria. That got formed when another bacteria combined with a protozoa, right? So two ecosystems got together and gave life as we know today. This is a theory by a Russian called Konstantin Marchovsky, and this is this lady called Lynn Margulis who is now taking this theory forward. So why I'm bringing this up, I'm not a biology major, or I'm not competent to talk about whether this theory is correct or not. You guys are better than that. But I believe in the ecosystem that we are talking of, especially in the context of mobile and internet, this is very relevant. Why? Look at the Indian movie industry, right? It was kind of floundering somewhere in the late 70s, 80s. People say that was because of Amitabh Bachchan's whatever accident. But it was largely just going astray. But when the Indian movie industry combined with the retail system, that's when the multiplexes came together, there was a complete resurgence of the Indian movie industry. Right? Look at mobiles. When they were just mobile for just speaking, they were just there. And when it combined with internet, that is where we see the sudden growth of the mobile internet and the other ecosystems, right? So my thought to all of you is that, we are talking of a race. In fact, there's a Bada race going on. You'll find in your folders of, if you first get the first 100,000 apps downloaded, you get $100,000. It's all of you can compete for that. If you have to do that, think about which two ecosystems or which three ecosystems you can get together and get the next big idea forward. Because that is how new and more important ideas get evolved. And think about this concept. Maybe it will trigger a new idea in your thoughts. If you have been thinking of one domain, think of another domain and try adding both together. And maybe you will find the next new app which will, why 100,000 downloads, a few million downloads. Thank you. It was nice talking to you. I'm sure you will have great next 2 days, and you'll have a lot of interactions. It was my pleasure, and I thank the sponsors so much. And definitely we will be in touch. If you have any queries, we have a booth right there, right at the entrance. You should talk to our colleagues and understand how we can support all of you. Thank you very much.